Good morning. My name is Haley Jones. I am head of independence here at Luminate. I am based on the West Coast, and I have a couple of my amazing colleagues joining us this morning. Um, Paul Touch is in Canada. Paul Touch is going to host our demo today. And Helena Kaczynski is in London. Helena is our head of, or vice president, actually. I need to give you full stripes. I'm still waking up, forgive me. Vice president of international, and she's amazing. Um, a
Daily.
couple things before we get started today. We are definitely going to be monitoring your questions as we go, so just put those in the chat. If it makes sense to interrupt Paul, we'll do that as we go. And we may save some questions to answer at the end. We are definitely recording today's session, so you'll get a copy of that either later today or tomorrow morning. And then the last thing that you should know is we are doing a global promo, a summer promo right now. This is meant to be for super small independent labels or managers. And I'm going to ask Megan to put a link to that in our chat box so that if you're a super small independent label or manager, please do check out our global summer promo that's going on right now. And we're doing a few of these. So if for some reason you don't get to see today's webinar or you don't have an opportunity to watch the recording, then certainly check back for other times because we will be offering some other times. I know many of you are from all over the world. Did I cover everything, Helena?
I think you did.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're really excited to show you what we've been working on and all of the global data that we now have to hand.
Yeah, this is our brand new platform, and Paul Touch is going to give us a tour. And please put questions in the question box. Thank you very much for being here. Take it
Thanks.
away, Poppy.
Thanks very much, Bailey. My name is Paul Touch. I'm based out of Toronto, and I'm on the customer support team. And I will guide you through what is currently available in our new Luminate NextGen site. Just some background on what we're going to show you as far as data. The data is available on the site that we show to our clients is provided from over 500 global providers, whether it's physical sales in North America or digital sales worldwide or streams worldwide. The data is coming directly from the providers themselves. So the data is very accurate and is not scrubbed or anything like that. We're getting the data directly from the providers. So that's what is available on the platform currently. And I will go through and show you what types of reports are available on the site. So right now we're showing you the homepage of the site, and you can see we've got a what's trending that shows some of the top trending artists, songs, albums, and singles and EPs. Now, one thing to note is that you can see at the top of the screen, we're looking at the United States location. We have data that looks at an overall global view, but we also have data from 49 specific countries around the world. So if you wanted to see another location, so let's say we want to look at, for example, Brazil. If we click on Brazil, now you'll see that the what's trending changes to look at artists and songs and albums that are trending in Brazil. So that is very easy to switch, as you can see, and we'll just go back to the United States section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a specific artist, and instead of going to an artist that maybe everybody knows, let's kind of look at an artist that is more of an independent artist. So we're going to look at a group called TV Girl, and we just put it in our search, and you can see that we've got some top results for songs and for artists. So we're going to click on the artist, and we're going to take us to our artist dashboard. Now you can see also at the top of the screen, we've got what we call a time frame, and that defaults to our current week. So we get data on a daily basis from all our providers. So there's generally a day or two lag for when the data is posted onto the site. So you can see right now that the current week is the current week that we're working on right now. But if we click on time frame, we can select any preset dates, but we could also create our own date range using a start date and an end date. And right now we have data in our system going back to week 1 of 2020. At some point there will be further historical data, but right now we've got data going back to the beginning of 2020, and you can actually get a look at about 4.5 years of worth of data on a dashboard right now. Just to make it easy, I'm just going to click on year to date so we can take a look at year to date totals, and it's going to refresh the screen. We have some metadata at the top detailing artist type, country of origin, genres, and languages. That's going to be important as we go through this presentation a little bit later on when we do things like ranking lists, where we can do it, we can create lists based on country of origin and language and things like that. Now, as we scroll down, we've got what we call our KPIs, and we have data looking at streaming data, song sales, and product sales. Product sales would be things like album sales or single sales, that type of thing. So what we can see here, because we're looking at the United States and we're looking at a year-to-date number, that's what these large numbers are. So that indicates the data based on the location and the time frame that we have selected. So in this case, this specific artist has about 861 million streams in the US year to date. We also have an ATD number, which is activity to date, and that goes back to week 1 of 2020. Now we have what we call activity types and breakout views. So right now you can see we're on streams for activity type. And the breakout view shows different types of metrics based on that streaming data. So right now we're showing a breakout view of commercial models. So you can see over here that we are breaking out our streams based on commercial model, which is ad-supported versus premium streams. If we change that breakout view to service type, we can now see that the data is based on on-demand streams versus program streams. And then if we change the content type, we can see that it's going to break the data down on a streaming level by audio and video data. So I'm just going to go back to commercial model here. And we're going to scroll down a little bit further. So now we're going to go look at our activity over time. And it defaults to daily. So you can see there's a lot of data here because I'm looking at year-to-date data. This is basically looking at every single day, every single day's data, going back not just to the beginning of the year, but we're also doing the same period of time prior. So I think we were at week 32 of the current year. So we're looking at 32 weeks worth of data for 2024, but we're also looking at the last 2 weeks of data, last 32 weeks of data for 2023. And I'm actually going to change this to a weekly view. So you can see that we do show you weekly data. We also show you daily data. And this daily data or this weekly data is broken down by the activity type and the breakout view that we're showing. So you can see right now we're looking at streams based on ad supported and premium. And we can hover over specific weeks to see that total. And in fact, this is a good way of seeing, where the peaks occurred. So maybe this specific week, there might have been a new release that caused their streams to spike over that specific week. So this gives you a really good way to see that type of data. And we can hover over specific weeks to get a closer view of the time that we're looking at. The other thing I'm going to quickly show you is if I change this activity type over to product sales. So in the United States and Canada, we do have we do track physical sales, and we have different breakout views for the physical sales. And one thing I'm going to show you is this store strata feature, where we can show where the sales are coming from on a physical level. So are they coming from e-commerce, such as Amazon? Are they coming from mass markets, such as Walmart? Are they coming from independent stores, direct-to-consumer, venue sales, or non-traditional sales? So this is a really great way to, again, to see how sales are being sold in the countries that we have physical sales available. I'm going to change this back to our streams. And if we click on our 3 arrows here, we can change this to a grid view. And this is very good because what this does is that this gives you not just the stream total, but if we click on this arrow here, it's giving us all the different metrics. So it's breaking down the data for all the activity types and all the breakout views that we have. So we can have this on a grid view. And again, we can show this on a weekly view or a daily view. and it's very easy to export this to a CSV or to an Excel file. And again, right now we can see data looking at 4.5 years in this activity over time section. We scroll down from there to our activity by location. And there's two different types of activity that we could show on this section. The first is country level data. And we can see that our market level data here is toggled off, meaning that we are looking at data through 49 specific countries, as well as what we call an others view, which is basically all the countries around the world that we get data in that are not broken out on their own. So we can see here that the United States is the top country based on, for this artist. We can see that what their total streams are and their share of the worldwide streams, which is 45% in this case. We can see that the others is second, then we can see United Kingdom is third, followed by Mexico. And as you can see, as I scroll down here, it automatically resets the graph. So it's very fluid and looks very easy to read when you're looking through that. If we change our markets to on, this will now change the data, and we're going to be looking at markets within the United States. So in the United States and Canada, we can look at data on a market level. So it could be a city, it could be a territory within the country. So we can see here that Los Angeles is the biggest market for streaming data in the US, followed by New York, etc. And by typing in, you could compare specific markets by typing in or choosing the market. So if I wanted to compare Houston with Chicago, I can just get a very quick view of the comparison between those markets. So again, very easy to set up, very easy to compare data. So if you're marketing your artist and you maybe want to see markets where you want to tour, and you can look at specific markets and see where the activity is very strong. So that's your activity by location. And again, just like in the previous section, you can change this to a grid view and export very easily to CSV or Excel. If I scroll down from there, we go to our discography tab. Now, because we're looking at an artist dashboard, we have the ability in the discography tab to show all the releases that are by that artist and where that overall streaming and sales data that I showed you at the top of the screen is based on. So it's based on all the releases that we have under albums, singles and EPs, and songs. And in this system or in this platform, it could be any song that this artist is a primary artist or even a featured artist. So if this artist is featured on a release, that release will show under the discography as well. So we can see here we've got a song list and we've got a pie graph that is next to the grid, which shows the top 5 songs by the artist and how much of the total percentage of the artist's activity is going towards that song, the song. So for instance, Lovers Rock is about 17% of the overall streaming universe of their titles. And if we expand this view, we can see the whole, all the metrics based on all these songs. We could sort by all these columns. I'm going to switch on to albums here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into an album dashboard. So I'm going to click on Who Really Cares. And this is going to take us to the album by this artist. So now we go to the top here, and now we're looking at a release group dashboard. So our release group dashboard is going to be a release group, whether it's an album, whether it's an EP. So again, we've got specific metadata here, the label, the genre, the release date, the release type. And then again, we've got our KPI data based on the location and the time frame that we have selected, as well as the activity type in the breakout view. And then we scroll from there. Again, we've got our activity over time, which can be changed from daily over to weekly. And then once again, we have our activity by location. And again, we're looking at just the data from this specific album. So all the songs that are linked to this album, as well as the overall album sales.
Alti, sorry, back on, yes, on this section, activity by location, a question came in about market views for the US and Canada. And the question is, do we have those for other places outside of North America now? And do we intend to have them in the future? And I'm just going to amend that and add one more thing that I always feel like is kind of interesting. When you go down to discography, you can definitely see a song by a different country, like which is most popular in a different country. And I'll let you answer all those. Thank you for
Yeah,
letting
that's correct. Yeah, so we currently only have market level data within a country in the US and Canada. To be honest, I don't know if that is going to be a part of the future enhancements. I know that our product team is looking at that. But as of right now, I don't have 100% confirmation that will happen or when that will happen. But right now, the location data is strictly on a market level in the North American countries. So if we scroll down to below to, unlike in an artist dashboard where we had discography, here we're looking at releases and songs. So these are the songs that are linked to the album. So you can see a breakdown below here. And then if we click on releases, it will actually show us the data for all the different UPCs that are listed for this release. Now, in this case, there's just one UPC. So we can see here that all the data is counted on one UPC. And we can actually click on this UPC and take us to a UPC dashboard. So let's say an album had multiple UPCs, we could actually click on a specific UPC and go directly to a UPC dashboard to just see the data for that one UPC. If we go back to songs here, again, we've got a list of all our songs that are linked to this album. And again, if we click on this little arrow here that's next to the song, it will break the data down by the ISRC for those songs. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on Not Allowed, and this is going to take us to a song dashboard. And again, you'll see very much the same type of information as we showed you on the other two dashboards, but now we're looking at song data. So you can see that where it says song here, we've got release date, we've got label, we've got the duration, we've got the genre, but we also have other types of metadata that we can show you. So if I click on this more details section, you'll see we've got some details here about the song. But if I click on external IDs, we can show you IDs that are coming from some of our providers and some of our data partners. So you can see we've got Apple IDs, we've got a Flow ID, we've got Spotify IDs, Angami IDs. So this is just another way where we can show you the different identifiers for a song. And it might be a way for you to very easily link up data that's in our system to what you have from the providers that you work with on a daily basis. So that is some extra metadata that we have in our system. As I scroll down on a song level, again, we're showing you our KPIs here for streams and for song sales. Again, we've got our activity over time. We've got our activity by location. And now we've got our recording. So in this case, we have our two different ISRCs. So we can see the actual total amount of activity for each ISRC. And then you can even go further and click on a specific ISRC, and that will take you to an ISRC or a recording dashboard. So if you had let's say, a remix of a song and you just wanted to see the data for that specific remix, you could go to that ISRC, click on it, and will take you directly to its own dashboard. So we give you a lot of different ways where you can see the data that you want to see. The other thing that's kind of really cool is that we can look at, so this total here is based on all streams, but if we click on our data controls button here, we can actually take away things that we might not want to include in that total. So if we click on streams here, for example, maybe we don't want to see the program streams. Maybe we don't want to see the video streams. So if I unclick those, it will change the data now to this total. So now you get an idea, and it shows you that this data is now based just on demand and just on audio. So again, really quick, easy ways to break down the data in a way that you exactly need to see it in. So those are our dashboards. So now I'm going to go to, and actually very quickly, I should just say in our search function, again, you have access to every single release that is in our system. So it could be your own titles, it could be competitive titles. You can search by the artist or the song or the album that you're looking for. You can also activate this ID search and type in an ISRC number or a UPC or a Spotify ID to hone in on where that data is and how to search easily for that data. I'm also going to show you very quickly. I'm going to show you an artist. This is actually, I'm not even 100% sure how you pronounce the name, but it's a French artist who actually appeared at the closing ceremonies of the Olympics on Sunday. She did My Way, but this is a kind of another way to look at the data, because I think I mentioned before that not only is the data in an artist dashboard based on if the artist is a primary artist, but also if the artist is a featured artist or part of a duo or a multi-artist recording. So if we look at this this artist here and we scroll down to our discography dashboard, we can look at the top release here is Alibi. And if we click on Alibi and we go to a song level, you can see that this is a multi-artist recording of which she is one of 3 artists on it. So you can see that even though she is maybe one of one person on a multi-artist recording, that data is included in the discography section of an artist dashboard. So another very easy way to see that the total activity by that artist is coming from a lot of different sources. So let's now go to our next section in our platform. Right now, and I'll show you this very quickly, we do have a charts platform. There aren't a lot of charts in there as of yet. They will be included in the near future. We will have charts, but I can tell you that we do have all the different global hits charts active in the Luminate Next Gen site. So for instance, let's say I do want to click on Brazil here, and we'll go to apply changes. The chart section is now showing us our global hits Brazil chart. And we have our chart here, and it gives you data such as total activity, the peak week, up or down from last week. If we click on the full chart section, we can see that we can break down this data a little bit more fully. So depending on what song we're on, you can see on the right-hand side, specific data around this release. So it gives you the release date, the genre, the label, and it's giving you a chart history. So the week that the song charted at or premiered on the chart, how many weeks it's been on the chart, the peak position, the lowest position. And then by using these arrows, we can see a week by week view of the chart position for this song. Anything that's in yellow, we can go directly to a dashboard and go directly to the dashboard to get more data. So these are the charts that are currently on the site. And as I said, in future updates, we will include a lot more charts in the different territories that we have.
Paul, a couple of questions that have come up. Number one, we have someone asking about DSP breakout, specific data from Spotify or Apple, for example. And then the second question that I'll throw out just while I'm interrupting is, and I presume you're going to get there, but how to pull a chart for another genre.
Sure. So right now, we do not have any DSP level data in our system, in this new system. We will have DSP level data, but only permission data. If you use our Music Connect, our current system, our Music Connect system, or are familiar with that, everything is very permissioned around DSP level data. So you have to be permissioned in order to get access to your distributed data. So not everyone would have access to DSP level, and your commercial lead or salesperson will be able to let you know if that's a possibility.
And before we move on from charts, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting again. Could you please show a question coming in about how to filter out Luminate versus Billboard? And I know Billboard is not officially here yet, but if you could show the filter on that chart,
Yeah,
owner.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the US location because this is a good way to actually show that. So right now we have just examples of a couple of different charts. Not all of our charts are fully in the system, but you can see down below we have different descriptions for the charts that we have. So you can see here that we've got genre, we've got frequency. So the genre is obviously self-explanatory. The frequency, it could it could say weekly for a weekly chart. It could say daily for a daily chart. It could say year to date for a year to date chart. And then under owner, we would have what we call Luminate charts and what we call Billboard charts. So if it's a Luminate chart, this is a chart that's created by us based on the data that makes up that specific chart. If it's a Billboard chart, like the Billboard Hot 100 or the Billboard 200, it would say that it's a Billboard chart. Now you can see this is the Luminate US 200. I think that will probably be changed at some point to a Billboard ownership. But this chart is actually not in the site as of yet. Anyway, it's just a descriptor, but you'll be able to very easily see which charts are considered Luminate charts and which charts are considered Billboard charts. So again, these are US specific charts and they look exactly the same as the global charts that I showed you earlier. So Haley, does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you very much.
Perfect. So we'll leave charts and we will go to our next section, which is our analysis section. So our analysis section is very simply put a report card of the industry based on the location that we're looking at and the time frame that we're looking at. So we're looking at the overall view of the industry based on different criteria. So we can see that right now we're looking at the United States. And we're looking at the last 12 weeks of data, and this can be changed by clicking on the time frame and adjusting that time view. And we can look at trends, we can look at genres, and we can look at markets. So right now we're looking at trends, and we are looking at the overall industry in the US for the last 12 weeks. So we could see this album equivalent total, which is based on a formula using streams and song sales and album sales. We've got our total streams, our song sales, our product sales, and again, we can change this data here by changing the activity type. So let's say we want to focus on streams. And again, we're looking at here the breakout between premium and ad supported. So in the last 12 weeks in the US, 73% of the streams in the US came from premium streams, which is really great. And then we could change this to a service type and show that 90% are coming from on-demand streams and 10% are coming from program streams. As we scroll, then we could see this weekly view over the last 12 weeks of the total activity in the US. And then below that, we've got our grid view, which gives you all the data by all the different activity types and breakout views. And again, this is very easy to export to CSV or to Excel. But there's different things that we could look at within this analysis tool. One of them is release age, and this is a really cool feature. If any of you have seen our mid-year reports or our year-end reports, we talk a lot about how catalog releases are doing compared to current releases. And using this release age tool, we can show you that, or you can pull that to see how current and catalog releases are doing in a specific location and time frame. But one of the really cool things that you can do is a lot of companies have different criteria internally of what a current release is or what a catalog release is. So in our current Music Connect system, we here at Luminate think of a current release as anything from 0 to 18 months from release. But with this release age tool, you can change that. So maybe you think that current should be 0 to 36 months. And using this slider, you can actually choose. So if you wanted to look at an overview of current releases and how strong they are doing in the US over this time period, we can highlight current and then change this release age to reflect what we think current releases are. So if we think they should be 36 months, for 0 to 36 months, we could set that. We can click on our apply changes, and now it will adjust the data and look at just current releases. So we can see here that release age just current, 0 to 36 months. And these are the totals based on that release age. So this is a very good way to see how overall current is doing compared to overall catalog in a market. The other thing we can do is look on a genre level. So if we click on this Luminate genres, we can see that we have Billboard genres and we have Luminate genres. Billboard genres are kind of the basic genres that we've always had in all of our tools. We can see them down below. But with Luminate genres, we have got a lot more subgenre data. So just for an example, if I scroll down to, let's say, pop, if I click on this drop down here, we can see that all the different genres that, or Luminate genres that we have under pop. So we have pop and Afro beats, but we also have genres such as Bollywood and J-pop and Arabic pop. So you can really get into a lot of subgenres and see how those subgenres are faring in the location that we're looking at, and see how that overall data is doing, and you compare different genres against each other. And then again, you can look on a market level as well. So again, if we're within the United States or Canada, we could take a look at the different markets in those locations to see which cities do better than others. And we could look on a genre level as well. So maybe we want to see how K-pop, for instance, is doing in all the different genres, or in all the different cities in the US. And we can change that Luminate genre just to K-pop and create that view. So again, a really good way of seeing how genres are affected even at a market by market level. So that is our analysis feature. And now we're going to go into our final section here, which is our report builder. And the report builder, think of a report builder as creating sort of a custom chart where you're creating a list of titles based on ranking, based on a number of different criteria. And we could look at these ranking reports on a song level, on a release group level, and on an artist level. And with this, we can look at a lot of different criteria to create a list that we want to view. So basically all you do is you name the report. So I'm just going to call it, what's my name here? And then I'm going to click on my criteria. So I can look at a list that goes from a minimum of 50 deep to as large as a 10,000 deep list. So you can really pull a large list of titles and create that list based on that amount. Then we could rank by certain data. So because we're looking at a song rank list here, we can choose a metric to rank by based on songs. So it could be streams, it could be song sales. So if let's say I want to choose streams. Now, these are the different metrics that we have within streaming. Maybe I don't care about program streams. Maybe I don't want to look at video. Maybe I just want to look at total audio on-demand streams. I can change all the different criteria here by just unchecking that function, changing it. And now this rank list is going to be the top 50 songs based on total on-demand audio streams. And then we can even look at additional criteria, such as the market, the location, the date range that we want to look at, and the genres. So again, maybe I want to look at this list, but maybe focus in on one specific genre. So maybe I want to look at Latin as my genre. And now if I change that, now this is going to give me my rank list based on the top 50 Latin on-demand audio streams. So again, very easy to build, very specific type of reports. And then I can just build this report, and it's going to basically create it within our management section. You can see I've got a whole bunch of different reports created, and it's very quick. It usually runs in maybe 30 seconds to maybe at maximum a couple of minutes. So it's a very quick report. And I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen and show you just what the report looks like. So this is a view of what our Excel report looks like. In this case, I believe I'm looking at the top US artists in Brazil. And in fact, I'll show you this in a second, that we could actually even go further on an artist level. And I'll show you that in a second, but this is what the export looks like. So it's very clean, very neat. It shows you different columns of data, such as artist type, country of origin, language, gender, the genres, and then all the different metric criteria.
Are you able to make that a little bit bigger, Palti?
Let me
In
see.
in the bottom right, that
Oh,
little
yeah.
cell. There you go.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
There we
There
go.
you go. Now
So,
we can see it. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
again, very, very simple to read, and very clean. Everything's very set up in its own columns. So this is the type of export that you would see from a ranked report. Now, I'm just going to reshare my screen here for the system. Here we go. So I'm going to go back to our ranking section. And as I said, this was a song one. We also have a release group, ability to do a release group ranking. We also have an artist ranking. And in the artist ranking, we've got some really cool stuff. And I've gotten into a big rabbit hole, pulling reports on different criteria that I could look at within an artist ranking. So again, we could choose our depth, our metric that we want to rank by, but within our additional criteria, we have other types of criteria that we can focus on. So we can focus on country of origin. We can focus, so which this would be, and we have a lot of countries here. So if you wanted to look at, and let's say, like the previous example, we looked at Brazil, in fact. So actually, let me go back here and I'll just show you how to do that. We would go into our locations. So let's change it to Brazil. So now we're going to look at a ranking based on data in Brazil. And then looking at our country of origin, maybe we want to look at the top US artists in Brazil. So if I type United States here and check that, now this report is going to be based on the top American artists in Brazil. And then we can look at artist types. So maybe I want to focus in on just solo acts or just groups. If we want to change it to gender, we can look at all the different options we have for gender. We also have language. So maybe I want to look at the top American artists in Brazil that speak a certain language. And we can scroll down and find a specific language. And again, hundreds and hundreds of languages here. So you can really get specific. I'm based in Canada, and right now in Canada, the Punjabi language is doing very well in Canada. One of our clients wanted to see a list of the top acts, Canadian acts in Canada that speak Punjabi. We could do that within this type of report builder and create a list of those type of artists. So no matter what kind of criteria you're really trying to look at, you have that option here within the report builder to look at country of origin and language and things like that, to really focus in and see that top total releases within the list you're creating. So this is a really, like I said, I've gotten into a rabbit hole. I know certain clients have gone into rabbit holes about spending a lot of time just trying to pull these types of lists and really getting that kind of specific criteria. So these are the options that are currently available, the different reports that are currently available within the NextGen tool. We are adding new ones seemingly every few weeks. We will let everybody know. We let all our clients know when a new feature is included in the site. We're also adding more and more historical data. And that's going to be coming as well in the next little while. And we will keep everyone informed on when that takes place. So Haley, I'll pass it back to you. And if you have any questions or.
Thank you so much, Paul. I think we're up to date with questions, but I will just throw that opportunity out to anyone. If you have a question, please feel free to type it in the question box. I'll watch that for just another minute here. We have recorded today's session and you'll get a copy of it, and you can feel free to reach out and ask any questions after today's webinar as well. All right, I don't see any new questions. You were very thorough.
Thank you.
Thank you, Helena, for joining us. Thank you, Paul, for joining us. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I just, we're really super excited about this platform, and we hope that you'll all get a chance to either demo it or use it and spend a lot of time with it.
Have a great day.